What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to another football chatter video. So today we're going to be discussing Manchester United and what they need for next season. So if you look at the starting 11, David De Gea in goal. Last season he was the goalkeeper that kept the most clean sheets in the league, yet he is still someone that they should possibly be looking on moving on to another team, or at least improving on that situation, getting some competition in. Now, his style of play is not ideal for Erik Ten Hag's system, so he wants to press. He kind of needs a sweeper keeper, someone who's really good with their feet. David De Gea isn't that. He's good at saves, but not with the feet. If you look at the defensive line, the centre backs, Martinez and Varane, they're really, really good. I think, depth isn't there. You need Lindelof and Maguire to step up to that level, and they just haven't been able to do that. Lindelof more so than Maguire, but Maguire is just no. He's really going to have to leave probably this season, and the next one in for Martinez has been Luke Shaw, who's done it really well, but then your left back position is lacking because Malacia just isn't that player yet who can just start starting for Manchester United. Now, Aaron Wan-Bissaka, is he good enough? Defensively, yes, he's probably one of the best right backs you could possibly have in a one-on-one situation, but when you're looking at the fact that Diogo Dalot, who is also really good offensively for Manchester United, but he's poor defensively. If you could just mix those two together, you could get a really decent centre, right back. But it kind of you do you need the defender or do you need the attacker? That's kind of what you have to adjust for. In midfield, you have Casemiro, Eriksen, and Fernandes, who were playing like most games for the last season. And even though Christian Eriksen was really, really good for Manchester United, and he a good value for that purchase, or the free transfer, I still feel they can upgrade on that, and they are looking at doing that. We'll discuss it a little bit later, but yeah, they should be upgrading him. Fernandes is fantastic, made a lot of good chances for them last season, and then of course Casemiro, a really good, possibly the best DM in the world. I think it's just so weird that Real Madrid actually let him go, but to each their own. Man United gained from that. Then in the front three, I did put Martial up there. He was injured a lot, and that is why he fell out of the team. I think you'd always put him ahead of Weghorst up front. You could put Rashford as the striker, but he isn't like a number 9. He's just really a left winger. And then you have Anthony on the right wing, who disappointed, judging by the price tag, with his spins and all that stuff. But no end product really. So you'd want to see more from him, and that might be a position that they might be looking at moving him on maybe some other time. I don't think they're going to do it over the summer, though. And then if you look at the subs, you have Heaton there, you have Dalot, Malacia, Lindelof, Maguire, McTominay, Sancho, Garnacho, and Fred. So you have some players that you can build upon, because Sancho is a good player. We know that from the Dortmund days. If he can find his old form, then it's fantastic for Manchester United. Garnacho is absolutely, such a talent, such a good prospect for them, high potential, but that's about it on the Manchester United bench. There's really the rest of the players you could improve upon. So who are going to be leaving Manchester United this summer? Now, they've already said that Jones and Antoine Sebe are going to be leaving the club on a free transfer, and there are rumours that Nottingham Forest want to buy Dean Henderson, and that Maguire and McTominay could both leave. Van de Beek is available in the market. He's exploring his options. Then of course there's rumours that they want to get rid of Martial, and that they're possibly willing to let Elanga go after a lot. And there's others players as well, of course, but these are just the players that you sort of need to call out, the big ones, the big names. I've actually seen rumours that they're going to be willing to let Sancho go for about 45 million, and that's one to look at in the summer. I'd get why they want to do that, but I'd be tempted to keep him for one more season and see if Ten Hag can't get the best out of him. So the potential incomings, Højlund, he is 80 million euros worth according to Atalanta. The guy scored 9 goals and he assisted 2 times. I don't understand where they're getting 80 million from. I know he's young and doing well for Denmark and all that, but come on. Then of course you have Mason Mount. Chelsea won 65 million for him. United put their final bid in at 55. Chelsea rejected it. Man United said, we'll hold it there for a little while. Think about it. It's either 55 million or he becomes a free agent and then he joins us, or Bayern or Real or whatever. Chelsea are actually thinking about it, so that might still happen. If it doesn't, then there's rumours that they might go for Caicedo, or they might turn to someone else. Maybe they're just thinking about going for Caicedo just to get Chelsea to say, okay, we don't want the competition. Here's Mason Mount. But they also have Todibo. He has been linked to Manchester United. Now, the rumor there is about 30-40 million, I think. Getting that off transfer market, by the way, might be a lot higher, might be lower. I don't exactly know. Do I expect Man United to go for him? Probably not. I think Man United are going to focus on the midfield and the forward and the goalkeeper before they start thinking about the centre back. But I still think it's an issue that they have to actually think about. And then, of course, you have Onana from Inter, the goalkeeper, who is so good at his feet that I think he would be the perfect fit for Ten Hag's system, and he would revolutionize their pressing. And honestly, I think this haul is a net spend of 250 million. Is Manchester United going to go out and spend 250 million? Probably not, but we'll have to wait and see. So what is needed? Well, it looks like we said, there's going to be a midfielder, there's going to be a striker, like a typical number 9, Harry Kane-esque, and a centre back. And I've added the fourth point, that they need to add squad depth. Now the reason for that is right here. So now this is also with them signing some new players, some fresh faces. We're talking about Mason Mount, we're talking about Onana, we're talking about Todibo, and we're talking about Højlund. It would leave them, and of course this would be with the outgoings that we already mentioned. So you'd have Onana and De Gea fighting for that place, Heaton bringing up the third, goalkeeping position, and then you have Luke Shaw, Malacia, and their young player Fernandes going for that left back position. Fernandes must still be loaned out to get some minutes. He was out on loan last season, comes back now, and his question is, will Ten Hag actually integrate him into the side or move him on loan? And then Martinez and Shaw are really the only players that can play that left centre back role. Yes, you could put Lindelof there or move Varane over, but it's not ideal. Ideally you want a left-footed player playing in that position. It opens up the pitch a lot more. So they really need to think about strengthening that. And then you have Varane, Lindelof, Todibo, and Mengi all in that position, that right centre back position. So Man United really need to address their centre back issues, because Mengi is a very young player, probably not really ready to step in, and Varane is injury prone, so we don't know if he's actually going to be able to go 30, 40, 50 games a season. I don't know. Depends on how you look at it. Now, Lindelof, he's a decent player. Don't get me wrong, but Man United can do so much better and should be doing so much better than Lindelof. And then the right back position, I don't think it's a priority, but in the next 2 years, maybe 3 years, they're going to be stepping up. Possibly just the next summer, they're going to be stepping in and trying to get someone instead of Wan-Bissaka and Dalot. I don't think that's the future of Manchester United. And then when you look at the midfield, it's just sad. It's just so sad. I mean, Casemiro and Eriksen, and then Mount, Eriksen, Fred, Malnu, Fernandes and Mount. I mean, this is with Mason Mount. They really need an extra midfielder plus Mason Mount, ideally. And you'd think, okay, Mason Mount can play in that 10 role. He can also play in the box-to-box role. But Fernandes played the deep-lying playmaker for them, during the end of the last season, alongside Casemiro. And he did a fantastic job creating a lot of chances and played very well. So maybe Mason Mount can be in a more free role, involved in the attack, also the defense, and helping out a lot. But that midfield does not read out to me as a midfield that is going to go far in the Champions League, the Premier League, all the cups and everything that they want to achieve next season. So they're going to need to strengthen that depth. Problem is they don't really have that much money. They're rumoured to have about £100 million, I think, to start with, and then they sell players for about 100 million or whatever. Okay, you have 200 million. Spend that wisely. Maybe Højlund isn't the player you go for. Maybe it's a different striker. And then when you look at the forward positions, you have Rashford, Højlund and Antony as your starters. You probably just stick with Antony. You have Sancho as the backup and Garnacho as the backup as well. And then you have Pellistri and Diallo. But of course, Pellistri and Diallo, could they possibly be moved on loan to get more minutes again? I mean, Diallo was on loan at Sunderland, did a fantastic job. But it's rumoured that to get Højlund in, they might actually move Diallo to Atalanta to just sweeten the deal a little bit, lower the price tag. But all in all, I think, you need more depth in this team. This screams out to me that it's lacking depth. There are 2 or 3 injuries away from actually having a huge issue here. If Højlund gets injured, they have a huge issue with that. If the midfielders get injured, Casemiro or whatever, they have a huge issue there. And if one of the centre backs get injured, huge issue. So I think it's something that Man United are going to have to address. The question is how they're going to do it. Well, my prediction for that, I think they're going to bring in a centre back. Doesn't have to be Todibo. He's just the one that I saw linked when I was making the video and doing some research around it. It could be another centre back. Could be anyone else really. Central midfield, I think they'll at least bring in Mason Mount. I think they'll get that deal through the line. And then they'll bring in a number 9. Doesn't have to be Højlund, but I would expect it to be Højlund or possibly Taremi. So you could possibly be looking at them bringing in Taremi, who would cost 17 million instead of the 80 million, and then using that extra fund that you have to bring in an extra midfielder, possibly another striker. So you'd have your main striker and your backup striker. I can see Man United going with this in a couple of ways. But 3 signings I don't think is enough for Manchester United. I think they're going to need 4 or 5 to actually get their squad ready for the Champions League and the league. If they're going to challenge for the league and the Champions League, they're going to need to strengthen this side a lot more than what they have already got. So what would this look like? Well, we're talking about the fact that Onana would be in goal if he comes in for them. I don't know if he will actually come in for them, but we'll see how that goes. Wan-Bissaka, Varane, Martinez and Shaw. I don't think you have to touch that defense right in this window. That is not a priority. It's a good win. It's a good, defense. Then you have Casemiro, Fernandes and Mount, and that's a good midfield 3. A strong, solid midfield 3. Great work ethic. Experience in that midfield. Quality players. I think that's a Manchester United midfield. And then you can just add to the depth around that. Now, with the attack, you bring in a number 9, you stick with Rashford, you stick with Anthony, and then you see, what you can do next summer. If Anthony doesn't step up this season, Man United move him on. And, of course, the number 9, you maybe add to him. If it's a temporary number 9 like Taremi, I think, of course, you step up that again next summer. Possibly the takeover will be successful or whatever, then they'll have a lot more money. An owner is actually willing to do something for the club, and then of course you'll have your star number 9. So maybe Taremi is the answer this window. He's cheap and allows for more build up elsewhere. He's still a number 9, probably better than Martial, and maybe they'll decide to keep Martial because they don't want to buy 2 number 9s, and they know that they'll need to bring in at least one, and if they sell Martial they'll need to bring in another one really. So this would probably be the Man United team. Tell me in the comments below, what do you think of the team? Do you agree with what I'm saying? Do you have any different viewpoints? Bring them up in the comments below. Tell me what team I should do next. Like and subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time. Goodbye.